Hi all, this is Anis with you. Welcome to my channel. In this ASP.NET Core tutorial, we will see how to create CRUD operations using EF Core, Ajax and partial views. You might have seen many videos or tutorials to create CRUD operations in the internet, but this tutorial is totally different from all of them. You will definitely going to love this video after watching it. I think this is going to be little lengthy video, but I will try to trim down wherever I can to reduce the length. Let us see the demo of the application. This application has two methods to do the CRUD operations. The first method is general one. There are already a bunch of videos available in the YouTube teaching this method. The second method is code simple method, that is my method. It uses Ajax and partial views. Till now, I have not seen any videos for this method. First, we will see the general method. When I click the products menu, it fetches the products from the database and populates the records from the database. When I edit and update a product, the application is loading all the products from the database again, which I don't like. Now we have only few products, so it is okay to load all again. But in my company, we have around 10,000 products. It's not a good idea to load 10,000 products after each update. I'm going to delete a product now. Again, it is loading all the products from the database after delete. Now let's create a product. I use images from the Pixabay, which is a free image providing website. After saving the new product, it loads all the products from the database again. Now we will see the CRUD operations done in code simple way, that is in my way. Let's click the menu product Ajax. This will call the controller method index Ajax and fetch all products from the database. Now I am editing the first row to change the cost. The cost is changed and updated to the database. This is happening in the server side, and in the client side we use the jQuery to do the partial refresh only for the updated row, that is the first row in our case. Now we will delete a row. First it asks for a confirmation. If we press cancel, it discards the request. If we press OK, it deletes the record in the server, and in the client side, that is in the browser, the jQuery removes that row from the HTML table. Now we will create a product using code simple method, that is my method. Again, it creates a row in the server and appends the row in the HTML table using the jQuery. The products are loaded from the database only when the products Ajax menu is clicked. For all other actions like delete, update and create, it alters the HTML table using jQuery and avoid the fetching of all products from the database. We can get a good performance benefits using this method. It looks very nice, no? Let's see how it is done. We will create the application from the scratch. Before I start, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. I am taking lot of efforts and spending lot of time to make all these videos. In return, I request you to subscribe to this channel. So please subscribe and share this video. Thank you. Okay, let's continue the video now. Start Visual Studio 2019. Click Create a new project. Select ASP.NET Core Web Application and click Next. Give the project name as Code Simple CRUD. Save the project in D drive /Code Simple CRUD. Click Create button. Select the web application type with model, view and controller. Click Create. Now our Code Simple CRUD application is created with the default configurations. Let's build and run the application. Right click the models folder and create a model and name it as product. To make it simple and concentrate more on the Ajax CRUD, we are going to have only one model for this application. Include the system and system.componentModel.data annotations namespaces in the using section. Our product model is very simple model. In it, code is the primary key with the maximum length of 6. Then it has general properties like name, description and category, which does not require much explanation. Then it has two important properties named cost and price. These two are having validations. Cost must be a number between 5 and 1000 and price must be a number between 5 and 3000. And then it has a property to store the URL of the product image and name that property as image URL. That's it, our model is completed. Create a folder named product. We will keep our product related view files inside this folder. Add the index view page to list all the products. Click add, then select view, then select razor view and click add. Give the view name as index. Then select the list template. In the model class drop down list, select the product model. Then click the add button. Now we need to install the Entity Framework Core for SQL Server. So go to NuGet Package Manager, click Manage NuGet Package for Solutions. Enter EF Core SQL Server in the search box and click Browse. Select Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.SQL Server from the search results and select the CodeSimple CRUD project to selected and click Install. If you are prompted with the Preview Changes dialog box, then click OK to proceed further. Click I accept in the License Acceptance dialog box. Now the Entity Framework Core for SQL Server installation is completed. Now search for EF Core tools and click Browse in the NuGet Package Manager for Solutions. Select Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore.tools from the search results and click Install. If you are prompted with the Preview Changes dialog box, then click OK to proceed further. Click I accept in the License Acceptance dialog box. Now the Entity Framework Core tools installation is also completed. Then we need to create the DB context class. This is very important step. We will create our DB context inside the data folder. So create a folder named data first. Right click the data folder and create a new class and name the class as CodeSimpleContext.cs. Then click the add button. Then inherit the CodeSimpleContext class which we just created from the DB context base class, and make sure you have added the Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore namespace in the using section. Listen carefully, this is again an important step. Add the constructor method to our CodeSimpleContext class. In this method, I have added the options parameter of type DBContextOptions. The value for this parameter will be provided by the dependency injection later and it will be passed to the base DBContext class. Then we will add the DBSet to our CodeSimple DBContext class. DBSet is the mapper property between the database and the model. The model will become table in the database. Table name will be the name of the mapper property. In our case, table name will be the products. Then make sure you have included the CodeSimpleCRUD.model namespace and Microsoft.EntityFrameworkCore namespace in the using section. Select the product folder and right click the product folder. Then click View. Then select Reza View and click Add button. Give the view name as Create. Select the template as Create. In the model drop-down list, select the product model. Then click Add button. Now the view for create action is created. For this application, we will store the connection string in the appsettings.json. So open the appsettings.json and add an object named connection strings. Inside it, create a name value pair in which name equals to dbcon and the value is the connection string to your SQL Server. I am using the SQL Server which came up with Visual Studio 2019. The database name which I am going to use is CodeSimple CRUD. Then I am using the interactive Windows user login, so I put the trusted connection equals to true. Please make a note of the connection string. And then open the startup.cs and locate the configure services method. Then call services.addDBContext method with the type of our DB-context, which is CodeSimple context. Then type options lambda expression options.use SQL Server of configuration.getConnection string of dbcon. This will load the connection string from the appsettings.json. Now go to NuGet Package Manager console. Then type add-migration space create database. This command will create the migration scripts to create the database and tables from the models. We will verify it by going to the SQL Server Object Explorer and will refresh the databases. Notice still our database is not yet created. Let's run the update-database command to update the changes to the database. The command execution is completed. We will refresh the databases. Now we are able to see the CodeSimple CRUD database. Now we will create the product controller. Right click the controllers folder, click add, then click controller. Select MVC controller empty and click add. Give the name as product controller. Declare a private read-only variable of type CodeSimple context. We are going to use this variable to do the CRUD operations. I am directly declaring the DB context in the controller, which is not the best practice. But to make the application easy and understand and keep it simple, I am doing like this. In the future videos, I will show you how to use the repository classes and unit of work pattern to do the CRUD operations. But in this project, we are going to write the CRUD functions directly in the product controller. Add the product controller constructor. Then add the parameter named context of type CodeSimple context. Then assign the context value to the private read-only variable underscore context. Please note that the read-only properties can be set value only in the constructor method. The constructor receives the parameter value from the dependency injection. Let's write a method to do the read operation of the CRUD. This method will read all the products available from the products table of the database and pass the retrieved products list to the index view. Then let's add the method to do the create operation of the CRUD. We are creating an empty new product model and passing the model to the view of the create.cshtml. Then open the underscore layouts.cshtml and copy the navbar list item of home and paste it below the home. Then change the controller to product controller for the pasted ASP-controller attribute. Then change the list item text to products. Save and run the application. Now click the products menu and then click the create new link. Then fill the loaded create form in the screen with the respective values. For image URL, as I told you earlier, I will use the Pixabay website. Select the image you like and copy the image address and paste it in the image URL text box. Now click the create button. We are getting an error saying this page isn't working. Why? Because we have filled the product model with the data and passing the model to the controller, but we have not created any method in the controller to receive this model. So we need to code one more create method in the controller. Copy the create method and paste it below in the controller. Then change the verb to HTTP post. Add a parameter name product of type product model. Then call the underscore context dot add of product. This will add the product model submitted by the create method to the DB context. And then call the underscore context dot save changes method. This will save the model to the products table of the database. Then call the redirect to action of index method. Okay, all set. Let's fill the form and click the create button again. This time we should not get any error, hopefully. Yes, our product is saved to the database. The products are getting listed here. I do not want to list the image URL in the listing page. Instead, I would like to display the thumbnail of the product in the listing page. So let's cut the table head tag th of image URL and paste it in the first column header place. Then I don't want to display the label for the image URL, so we'll delete it. Then in tr row inside the for each iteration, cut the image URL td tag and paste it in the place of the first column. Then add the image tag for the image URL and delete the html.displayFor tag of the image URL. Let's create one more product. Now the image thumbnail is displayed. Now let's beautify the create new link tag by adding the bootstrap class btn-success. Then delete the index h1 tag. Now the page is looking neat and good. Let's beautify the edit, details and delete links also by adding the bootstrap classes. I have commented the HTML links which was created by the scaffolding task. Instead, I added div tag with btn-group bootstrap class. Inside this div, I have added the links using the ASP.NET tag helpers and decorated the links with the bootstrap classes. Wow, the page looks very professional and good now. Let's add the details view razor page for the product. Right click the products folder, click add, select and click view, then select razor view, click add button, change the view name to details. Then select details template from the template drop down list. Select product model from model class drop down list. Select code simple context from the data context drop down list. Then click add button and wait for the scaffolding task to complete. I have added the details method in the product controller. This is a very simple method with one line of code. We are fetching the required product by passing the product ID to the where class and sending the retrieved product to the details view page. Let's click the detail link in our listing page. The requested product details are populated in the details page. I like to display the product image in the right side of the details page and the contents in the left side of the details page. First, I have added a div and wrapped the DL content in the div. Then I moved the bootstrap class row from DL tag to the div which we just created. Then I changed the size of DL class from col-12 to col-8. Then collapse the DL tag. Then add a div tag with bootstrap class col-4 to display the product image. Let's run the application and go to the product listing page. Click the details button now to load the details page. Okay, the details page are loading properly and it is looking professional and good. That's it. We are done with the details page. Let's add the edit view razor page for the product. Right click the products folder, then click add, select and click view, select razor view, click add button, change the view name to edit. Then select edit template from the template drop down list, select product model from the model class drop down list, select code simple contacts from the data context drop down list, then click add button and wait for the scaffolding task to complete. Open the product controller.cs and copy the details method and paste below. Then change the pasted method name to edit. Edit method is similar to details method. Then add a HTTP GET verb to the method head. Like create method, edit method will also have two methods, one with the HTTP GET verb and the other one will have the HTTP POST verb. I have created the another edit method with POST verb. In this, we will receive the edited model from the edit form through the product parameter. Then we will attach the received product model to the DB contacts by calling the underscore contacts dot attach of the product. Then we have to inform the EF core that the entity is modified. We do this by calling the underscore contacts dot entry of product dot state equals to entity state dot modified. This is very important line, so please make a note of it. Then call the context.save changes to update the product to the database, and then we call the redirect to action of index to list the products. Okay, let's go to the listing page and edit a product. I am changing the cost of the product to 650 and click the save button. The cost is updated to the database and retrieved back. So our edit method is working fine. Now we will create the delete method. Right click the products folder, then click add, select and click view, select razor view, click add button, change the view name to delete, then select delete template from the template drop down list, select product model from the model class drop down list, select code simple context from the data context drop down list, then click add button and wait for the scaffolding task to complete. Open the product controller.cs and copy the edit method and paste below. Then change the pasted method name to delete. Delete method is similar to edit method. It will have two methods, one with HTTP GET verb and the other with HTTP POST verb. I have created the HTTP POST delete method. This method exactly same like HTTP POST edit method with only one change. We have changed the entity state to entity state dot deleted. Let's delete a product by pressing the delete button. It loads the delete confirmation page with one more delete button. When we click this button, the product will be deleted permanently. So far, we have seen the general method for creating CRUD operations in ASP.NET Core, and we have successfully created all the methods of the CRUD like create, read, update and delete. Now we are going to create CRUD operations in code simple method, that is in my methodology. I am going to use Ajax and partial views to bring partial refresh. At first, we will create the listing page. Copy the index.cs HTML and paste it in the same folder, I mean in the product folder, and rename the pasted file to index.ajax.cs HTML. And then open the product controller.cs. Copy the index method and paste it below. Then rename the pasted method to index.ajax. Both the index and index ajax method are doing the same work with only one difference. The index ajax method is going to render the index ajax.cshtml view page. In this view page, we are going to do the modifications needed to bring the ajax CRUD. Now open the underscore layouts.cshtml. Copy the nav list item of products listing as shown. Then paste the copied item below. Then change the ASP-action to index ajax. Then change the li text to products ajax. Let's run our application and click the products ajax menu. Yes, it is loading the new listing page of the products. Select the shared folder and create a empty partial view and name it as underscore product.cshtml as shown. Now open the index ajax.cshtml and collapse the tr row tag inside the for each loop. Then cut the collapsed tr row tag and paste it to the underscore product.cshtml. Then bind the underscore product.cshtml with the product model by adding the product model in the top of the page as shown. And then change all the item.property name to the model.property name as shown. Make sure the M is capital in the model. Then remove only the tr tag from the underscore product.cshtml and paste this tr tag to the index ajax.cshtml. Give an ID to the tr tag as tr underscore item.code. This ID is very important, so please make a note of it. Then add the partial view underscore product inside the tr tag of the index ajax.cshtml and pass the item of the for each loop to the partial view as shown. Then change the text of the create new a tag to create new ajax. Then run the application and click both the products and the products ajax one by one. Please note both are generating the same output screen, but the product ajax is using the partial view, which is going to help us to do partial refresh. Wait and watch, it is going to be very interesting. I know this video is going little lengthy, but believe me, you are going to like this video. Now we will do the coding for delete action in the ajax way. Delete the a tag of delete. Then add the form with asp-action equals to delete product and asp-root-id equals to model.code. This delete product is a controller method which we will be creating in a while. Then add button of type submit, which will post the form. Then open the product controller.cs and add the delete product method. Delete product method is having the same code of the delete method which we did earlier. It has only one difference. The normal delete method returns the redirect to action of index. This returns the action result of type OK. OK is one of the action result for the controller method. Now we need to install an important client-side library. Our project is dependent on this library, so please pay attention to install this library. You might be heard about this library. This library is there from the ASP.NET Classic itself, and this is from Microsoft. The library name is jQuery.ajax.unobtrusive. To install this library, right click the project and click add client-side library, then enter Ajax in the search bar. Then you will find this library in the list box. Select this library and click install as shown. We can see this library installed in the lib folder inside the www root folder. Then open the underscore validation script partial.cshtml and drag this library file to validation script partial.cshtml as shown. Now we are going to add an important line in the underscore product.cshtml. Please watch it carefully. Add the ajax functions to the delete form as shown. First, we are adding data-ajax equals to true. Next is what should be done when the ajax calls gets completed successfully. Here we are calling a JavaScript method named delete item of this. Open index.ajax.cshtml and scroll down to the bottom and then add the script section and call the html.render partial async of validation scripts partial. This is another way of calling the partial view. And then add the function delete item, which will remove the row, that is the tr tag nearest to the calling delete form. In our case, the tr row in which the form exists will be deleted. Here we are first calling the controller method delete product, which will delete the product from the products table in the server side, I mean in the database, and gives the action result as OK. Then we call the delete item JavaScript method in the client side, I mean in the web browser. This function will remove the row in which the product is present from the HTML table by removing the particular HR tag. Let's run the application and we'll see the delete in action. To prove that the delete method is not reloading the listing page, we are going to put breakpoints in both the index method and index ajax method. These are the methods which fetches the products from the table. Let's run the application. Now click the products ajax menu. We can see that the breakpoint is hit. Then the products are loaded. Now we are going to delete the product. Let's click the delete method. Notice that the row is deleted from the list, but breakpoint is not hit. That means it is not loading the list again. Instead, it removes the row from the HTML table using the JavaScript method delete item. Again, I am deleting one more row. It has deleted. Since delete is a destructive method, to avoid accidentally deleting the records, it would be better if the user is prompted with confirmation dialog box before deleting. So let's add the confirmation dialog box. In the submit button on click event, add a JavaScript confirm function with the message delete confirmation for product with product code. Let's run the application again. Now click the delete button. See, we are getting the delete confirmation dialog now with OK and cancel button. If we press cancel button, the delete action is aborted and nothing will be deleted. If we press OK, then the row gets deleted. I hope you understood Ajax delete method concept. If not, please watch it again. Anywhere, if you are not able to follow, please put on comments. I will be glad to reply the comments and assist you. Also, guys, please subscribe to my channel. I think it is worth now for the subscription. Okay, let's continue the project. Now, let's create the detail view in the code simple way. First, right click the shared folder, then click add view, then select razor view empty and then click add, then give name as underscore detail.cshtml. Open the details.cshtml, copy all the code and paste it to underscore detail.cshtml partial view. Now this is very important. Please watch it carefully. First, open index.ajax.cshtml. Create div as shown. Div ID is very important here. I have given the div ID as div detail view. Then this div will be invisible initially because we added bootstrap class invisible for this div. Then this div is having an inline style of top 2%, the height 90% and position is absolute. Then collapse the table and p tag as shown. Then wrap the collapsed content, that is the p tag and the HTML table inside a div as shown. Then give an ID to the div. I have given div list view as the ID. This ID is very important. Please make a note. Then add the bootstrap class visible to the class property as shown. Go to the script section at the bottom of the page and add a jQuery function named show detail form. In this function, we are adding the bootstrap class visible to the div detail view to make it visible. Currently, the div detail view is invisible, and also we are removing the bootstrap class invisible from the div detail view. Likewise, for the div list view, we are adding the bootstrap class invisible to hide it and removing the class visible from the div list view to make it invisible. Then add one more jQuery function named close detailed form. This exactly doing the reverse of the show detailed form method. Please go through the code and try to understand. It is so simple again. If any assistance needed, please add to the comments box. Then open the underscore product.cshtml. I have pasted the code for the details button. Let me explain. This is so similar to the delete action. On clicking this button, again the form will be posted to a controller method named viewProduct. This viewProduct method is not yet created. We will create in a while. Please notice it has a new Ajax attribute named data-ajax-update equals to div detail view. This div detail view is in the index.cshtml and currently it is invisible. On data-ajax-success, this will call the jQuery function show detail form. Then the partial view received from the controller method viewProduct will be loaded to the div detail view. Then comment the aDetails tag which was used earlier. Then open the product controller.cs. In it, add the viewProduct method. This is similar to our details method with one difference. This method is returning partial view instead of the normal view. This partial view will be loaded in the div detail view. Let's see this in action. Let's run the application and click the details button. The product detail is loaded in the div detail view and the div list view becomes invisible, but it requires some alignment adjustments. Remove the details h1 tag and h4 tag. Then delete the edit and index links from the bottom of the page. Add a div at the bottom of the page to close the detail view. Notice we are calling the close detail form jQuery method, which will hide the detail view and show the list view div. Then open the index-ajax.cshtml and change the top to 10% and height to 80% for the div detail view. Let's run the application. Now it is showing the details page properly, and the important point, it fetches the products only one time from the database. Then after, it is using the Ajax to do partial refresh for the required div. Now let's create the edit view in the code simple way. First right click the shared folder, then click add view, then select razor view empty and then click add. Then give name as underscore edit.cshtml. Open the edit.cshtml, copy all the code and paste it to the underscore edit.cshtml partial view. And then open the underscore product.cshtml, then copy the view product form and paste it above. Then change the ASP-action equals to edit product. We will create this edit product in product controller.cs in a while. This is so similar to the view product action. It has Ajax attributes same like view product form. The Ajax attribute data-ajax.success will call the jQuery function show detail form on success. Then the partial view received from the controller method edit product will be loaded to the div detail view. Then comment the edit a tag which is not required anymore. In fact, you can delete that line. Then open the product controller.cs, copy the view product method and paste it below. Then change the method name to edit product. Then change the returning partial view name to underscore edit as shown. This partial view will be loaded in the div detail view. Open the underscore edit.cshtml partial view and remove the edit h1 tag and h4 tag. Then delete the edit and index links from the bottom of the page. This form is calling the controller method update product in the ASP-action attribute. We will create this update product controller method in a while. All the other Ajax attributes are same like details form attributes. We saw all these attributes in detail just few minutes before. Open the index ajax.cs HTML and locate the for each loop. Inside the for each loop, notice the ID of the tier tag. This is very important. The tier tag is having the ID as tier underscore item code. Using this ID, we are going to refresh the partial view of the updated item. In the edit form, we have this ID in the data-ajax-update attribute. So the partial view will be targeted to this row. Then open the product controller.cs and add the method named update product. This update product will receive the product model from the edit form partial view and updates the product to database and return the partial view. Then this partial view will be updated respective row of HTML table inside the underscore products.cs HTML. Let's see this in action. I am editing the item 011111 and changing the cost and price and name and submitting the form. Here the update product method updates the form to the control and returns the partial view which refreshes the particular row of the table without reloading the products list from the database. This is very nice, you know. During developing this project, I found a bug in the ASP.NET Core Validations Ajax library. Usually, when you update a form using the partial view, the client-side validations are not working. See, I am changing the cost and price to 0. It should not accept, but the form accepts and does not show any errors. To fix this issue, we will write a jQuery function which will do a small workaround. This function will remove the client-side jQuery validations and rebind the client-side jQuery validations again to the respective controls. Let's modify the product again. I am trying to make the cost to 0, but the validators are not allowing me to submit the form. So now the jQuery validations are working fine. Then that's it with this project. Everything is working fine now, but one more thing is left. That is very important. The Ajax create method. The Ajax create method is similar to the edit method. So I want you guys to do some R&D and do the Ajax create method yourself and put it on the comments. If you are not able to do, no worries. I will tell you in the part 2 of this video. Yes, I am planning to make the part 2 of this video sooner. In fact, this video is very lengthy video and it has a lot of useful information and techniques. With this, I am completing this video. Before I sign off, I request you to subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. Thank you and bye for now.